And that's exactly the way it went down. She didn't change. She didn't nothing. And if you were in my spot, you would absolutely 100%, I can say without a doubt, have my vote over Joe. And the reason that my reasoning, I'm not trying to tuck you into anything. I'm just going to say, between the two of us, who's been the most honest? Between the two of us, who has gone behind people's backs and talked shit, and just to stir up bullshit? Between the two of us, who can you trust more? I think in this house, I've been the most honest, the most real, the most straightforward of anybody. I'm not holding back. And everybody else in this house is holding back at least a piece, if not, look at Mike and Kale. But the thing I said to Kale that was I can't say the most true because everything I said was true. She hasn't said jack shit to anyone, and you know it because you've even said it. And yesterday, she spoke more to you than she's spoken to you the combined entire 17 days here trying to get me out. And she did the same thing with everybody else. And if nobody can see that that's transparent, it's as transparent as when... That's what I like about this room. You can see out, but you can't see in. It's as transparent as Zach running over to Jen the moment she won HOH. And if people can't see that, to me, are you kidding me?
But that's not even like where my dilemma comes in. It's going to be my vote. It's not going to be what other people want.
I don't know that about you.
I have to be okay with the vote that I make. And what I'm trying to get you to see is that it is, I don't know, but just from observation with the relationships that you have, Joe hasn't, that I know of, done that to me.
What?
Like, yeah, he's talked about other people. Yeah, he's whatever. But as far as I know it to be the case, that hasn't occurred to me. So I can't take that into
Let me ask you one question. If you were on the block and I gave you my word that I was voting for you, and Joe gave you his word that he was voting for you, who are you more likely to believe?
Both. For me. For me.
Okay.
For me, I would.
There's a reason Joe has no friends outside of this house, and you heard that sob story.
Yeah, I have. I don't know. So, okay, so that's one. This is what I'm going to tell you. This is the thing.
I put myself in a really, really bad spot because everybody in this house knows that Zach is a supporter of mine. And what did I do? I tried to get Joe off the block and put Zach on the block. Why? Because everyone, including yourself, wanted him out. Did I have to do it? No.
That's true.
What did Joe do? He went directly to Zach and told him all of this shit. And that it was my idea and that I was trying to get him out in order to swing his vote. He's a motherfucker, and that is what pissed me off. When why would... You know, I learned a lot this week. And I learned that why am I going to go out of my way for someone else when that gives them the ammunition to come back and use what I did for them against me? And what he did was bullshit.
But that's one
I can't stand that. That really, really makes me mad at him. To the point where I won't talk to him again after this, whether he's gone or whether I'm gone. I won't talk to him. That's bullshit. If somebody were to do that to me, for me, do you believe that I would go to them and tell them the whole thing? And you know, I'm probably the first or second closest person to Zach. And I know I have his vote, and I know I still do. But I also had to lie for the first time in this house to him. And I told him, consider the source. And I used the fact that Joe is such a bullshitter. And he's caught. Matter of fact, he caught Joe in bullshit when we were talking together. And as soon as Joe left, he's like, that's why I hate that guy. But for him to do that to me, of all things, when I'm trying to save his ass, why was I doing that? I'm sitting here going, why was I doing that? Why would I put myself out against somebody that's a supporter of mine, and that son of a bitch goes right to him and betrays me like that? You know, fuck him. I'm sorry, but I think that you would feel the exact same way.
Yeah, no.
And if you want to go look over there, there's those chocolate protein shakes.
Well.
And that thing yesterday, it really, really did upset me. I mean, it really did, because I felt like it was pointed to me when you're like, it could be used as strategy. But that really, I would never, ever. I'm sitting here watching my daughter wither away to nothing.
It was not directed to you.
I'm really glad, because that really did upset me.
I give you my word, it was not directed to you. You are. Who else cooks for everybody voluntarily? I mean, come on. Obviously, I was not talking to you.
Okay, well.
Obviously, I was not. Who else has promised
The
us
things in
meals
this house
after?
are just so fucked up, you know.
But it's the nature of the game.
I know,
mean,
but that's why I'm like, you know, why would you say it to me? And
but I wasn't.
And what the thing was is like I don't know, the way you were like kind of whispering. I felt like it was so I wouldn't hear or something. When I felt like you could have just turned around and said, "Hey, motherfucker, don't you realize this has food in it?
No.
Can you use the other stuff, or please stop?"
It was not directed to you at all. Look at me. I promise you, it was not directed to you. It was not.
No,
I promise you.
I don't think that you're going to sit here and lie to my face.
I'm not going to play that game this way, Edie, which is why I have isolated myself to try and get my own thoughts, which is why I haven't told you or Joe where I'm going, because I don't know. I'm really trying to figure out what decision I can live with. Now, in terms of why it's more of a struggle for me this week, obviously, like I said, I like you both, and everything with one point that you have over Joe, I can think of one and get Joe right back up here, and with one Joe here, I can think of one to put you right back up here. Honestly, for me, and how you all have treated me during this game, which is why I'm like, the only comparison I can come up to is, quite honestly, if it were Eric and Amber up there for you. Maybe you already know who you'd take, but it's definitely, well, it's, I don't know then. It's a
No, I would never tell you.
No, and I'm not asking. I'm just trying to see.
And let me tell you something. The bottom line with me is because trust in this game, in this house, is such a rare commodity.
You're right.
Yeah.
If even, because people put out what they want to put out. Oh. Which is why my answers and the conversations I have with people, it's totally me. It's what I think. It's my thoughts. I'm not going to ever say, oh, well, you know, so-and-so, boom, boom, boom. That's not how I want to do it. I want it to be from my opinion. Because I realize that it's too much at stake. I mean, for stating the obvious. You
know, different things, even with us, where and it's not just what people say, it's what people don't say, especially in Kale's point, Kale and Mike. And even when we had the conversation about religion and everything else, I wasn't afraid of your reaction or Carol's reaction because I felt like I have, from the time I walked in here, spoke my heart, spoke my feelings, if you agree with them or not.